ब्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरा वनचार यमुना तीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी जय राधा गोपी जना वल्लभा राधा गोपी जना वल्लभा जय निताय पतिता पावन गौरा हरि जय निताय पतिता पावन गौरा हरि प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवंश्च। श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देव श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान् सहगण ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितंश्च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमस्तुते। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमस्तुते। तप्त कांचना गौरंगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी विश्वभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिय। वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमः ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे पंचतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपा स्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्ताशक्तिकं। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरम्। Okay, we are reading from third canto, chapter 25th, verse number 14. Tam imam te pravakshami yam avocam puranage rishinam shrotu kamanam yogam sarvanga naipunam. Tam imam te pravakshami yam avocam puranage rishinam shrotu kamanam yogam sarvanga naipunam. Tam imam te pravakshami yam avocam puranage rishinam shrotu kamanam yogam sarvanga naipunam. Tam imam, that very, te to you, pravakshami, I shall explain, yam, which, avocham, I explained, pura, formally, anage, O pious mother, rishinam, to the sages, shrotu kamanam, eager to hear, yogam, yoga system, sarva anga, in all respects, naipunam, serviceable and practical. Translation purport by His Divine Grace Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. O pious mother, I shall now explain unto you the ancient yoga system, which I explained formally to the great sages. It is serviceable and practical in every way. Purport: the Lord does not manufacture a new system of yoga. Sometimes it is claimed that someone has become an incarnation of God and is expounding a new theological aspect of the absolute truth. But here we find that although Kapila Muni is the Lord himself and is capable of manufacturing a new doctrine for his mother, he nevertheless says, I shall just explain the ancient system, which I once explained to the great sages because they were also anxious to hear about it. When we have a super excellent process already present in Vedic scriptures, there is no need to concoct a new system to mislead the innocent public. At present, it has become a fashion to reject the standard system and present something bogus in the name of newly invented process of yoga. Once again, translation. O most pious mother, I shall now explain unto you the ancient yoga system, which I explained formally to the great sages. It is serviceable and practical in every way. Okay, so we are continuing from the 14th chapter of third canto, which is called The Glories of Devotional Service. Verse number 14. In the past, there is a conversation going on between Mother Devahuti and Kapila Muni, and Mother Devahuti takes a very humble position. She requests the Lord, like there are few questions that she has asked in the past. One thing she asked is, I have been covered by your material energy. How can I be free from it? Then she asked, how do we understand the relationship between the men and women? And then she asked the relationship between the living entities and the Lord. So, I mean, for her, it's relevant because the husband just took vanaprasth. From that perspective, she's asking that question also. And how do I become free from your illusory energy? So there are various questions that she asked, and um, obviously, as the name describes, Kapila Muni is going to describe about devotional service. But here is the beginning. I mean, just before the beginning, where he is mentioning that now I'm going to describe um, um, the knowledge which has already been described before. So, Srila Prabhupada mainly is focusing on presenting the knowledge as it is and having faith in the knowledge already presented, whatever the standard process has already been given, having faith in that and sincerely trying to practice it rather than concocting some means for self-realization. And as Srila Prabhupada says, in this age of Kali, concocting new methods for self-realization has become a fashion. There's there are so many fashionable forms of self-realization which attracts many people also. They have many followings also. But then the ways that they describe for self-realization is what is concocted. Um, like there is a group of people, they call themselves Brahma Kumaris. One time I met one of their representative and they say there is a woman, she has direct connection with God, she get the messages from God, and then she pass on to all the centers and all the centers follow whatever message she received from the God. So that's how concoction happens. Concoction means you make up your own way based on what you think rather than the standard process followed and mentioned in the scriptures. How the people in this age of Kali will be delivered is already mentioned in the scriptures thousands of years ago. It's just a matter of following them. Like before I got connected with devotees, actually, when I was connected to devotees in India, I used to go to um, this Art of Living and by Ravi Shankara, and they used to practice this form of kriya called Sudarshan Kriya. They also have many rules. They would say, you should not take tea and coffee. That time I had those habits of tea and coffee. Then I gave those up. Then I tried to practice them early morning, 5 o'clock. They have their own morning programs where I used to go. And they used to do yoga, and they used to do some kind of impersonal meditations. And later on, after I got connected to devotees, did I actually realize what they were teaching me is that you are God and everybody is God. Then I realized, oh, this is Mayavad actually. So, and this method of Kriya that he was teaching is something he concocted from his tapasya, from his austerities. And it is also said that real spiritual leaders will be very less known, and those who are imposters will become famous in Kali Yuga. This is one of symptoms in Kali Yuga. That's why we see not many people know Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada, but the whole world knows so many imposters. And um, this is like Prabhupada says, uh, the Lord is the only one who is actually qualified to make a process, because whatever he says happens. Dharma to Sakshat Bhagavad Panitam. What is Dharma? Whatever pleases Krishna. Whatever Krishna wants becomes Dharma. So he is the one who gives um, the process for self-realization. So he is the only one capable. Still, the Lord himself is not making up anything, and he is presenting as it is. Srila Prabhupada himself, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came, I was thinking to um, keep it centered around Lord Chaitanya and the associates of Lord Chaitanya because of the relevance of the festivity. I'm sure yesterday there was an ecstatic festival. I'm sure many devotees will be exhausted. Some of us here also very exhausted. So, but thank you for joining anyway. So whoever joined. Mm. So we see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu when he appeared, he also did not uh, um, give anything by himself. Rather, if you see, he took from Kalishandran Upanishad the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So he gave the process which is already mentioned. And it is said that chanting of Hare Krishna was still there before also, but it was in small pockets in some parts of India. But then Mahaprabhu's contribution is he widespread it, and through the same chanting, the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is he gave entrance to Golok Vrindavan. So it is described how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came for three external reasons. One of the external reason is calling of Advaitacharya. One of the external reason is the Yoga Dharma. The Yoga Dharma is Harinam Sankirtan. Another external reason is to give entrance into Golok Vrindavan, because um, without the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the doors to Goloka are not there. And we have heard it is described, he comes once in a day of Brahma, and the remaining Kali Yugas, uh, God Narayan comes, who is an incarnation of Narayan. He also gives the same Mahamantra, but he does not give access to Golok Vrindavan. He gives access to Vaikuntha planet. But the means in this age of Kali is Harinam Sankirtan anyways. So one of the contribution to Lord Chaitanya, and when Krishna himself comes, that's why these are the reasons why Krishna came. Narayan could have come in the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he does comes every Kali Yuga. But then why Krishna himself came? Because one thing is he want to give admittance. Only once in a day of Brahma he gives admittance to the um, um, rasas, to the mellows of devotional service. Um, not just liberation from this material, but the rasas. And specifically, it is mentioned by Sarup Damodar Goswami. Saru Damodar Goswami was very close associate of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he wrote a diary. That diary is, I mean, I one time I was actually searching for the diary, the verses spoken by Saru Damodar Goswami. Um, but I recently read somewhere that the diary is not available now. The verses that Saru Damodar Goswami wrote. But whatever, because the diary was with Raghunath Das Goswami, and Raghunath Das Goswami would, as part of his sadhana, other than chanting 64 rounds a day, as part of his vows, and very minimalistic in his physical needs of eating and sleeping, that he took it as his vow. Um, he would speak on the bank of Radha Kund about the glories of Lord Chaitanya for 3 hours. And actually, Sarup Damodar was, Raghunath Das Goswami was very, very close to Sarup Damodar Goswami, like very, very close. It's like um, uh, Sarup Damodar Goswami was like Shiksha Gurus. Shiksha Guru. I mean, if you see, Raghunath Das Goswami had many Shiksha Gurus. Initially, he was under the care of um, Yadunandanacharya, who was his Diksha Guru. Then his beginning of Shiksha of Raghunath Das Goswami started with Haridas Thakur, because Yadunandanacharya was very close friend with Haridas Thakur. And then he started taking directions from Advaitacharya. And it is said um, Govardhan Majumdar and Hiranya Majumdar, they were very close with Advaitacharya. So Advaitacharya showed a lot of love and affection to little Raghunath, who was only 12 or 13 years old when he would come to the house of Advaitacharya, and that's where he was introduced to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, actually, his life was very, very short span, only 48 years. And when the first time, this is like, very inconceivable, when the first time Chaitanya Mahaprabhu met Raghunath Das Goswami, that time Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was 21, 22. Like and when he met Haridas Thakur, it was like um, 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 like Raghunath Das Goswami was like 10, 11. So this is like he is much younger to see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I mean, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas at the age of 24. So imagine Raghunath Das Goswami's awakening of such a deep desire for self-realization was at such a younger age. Anyways, um, yeah. So first he was taking guidance from first Acharya, then there is Haridas Thakur, then there's Advaitacharya, and then when he came to Puri, then he was under the care of Sarup Damodar Goswami, and then after the departure of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sarup Damodar Goswami knew that he is going to depart very soon, so he told him that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wants you to take shelter of Rupa and Sanatana. And then when he went to Vrindavan, after very soon, Sarup Damodar Goswami departed out of separation, out of separation from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Then Raghunath Das Goswami went and took the care first of Sanatan Goswami. Sanatan Goswami told him, he actually wanted to commit suicide by climbing on Govardhan. So apparently, I mean, he never been to Vrindavan. So apparently, he was not aware that devotees don't climb on Govardhan. But he was thinking that I will climb on Govardhan and jump because of separation from Mahaprabhu and Sarup Damodar. That time, Sanatan Goswami instructed him, and he taught him the principle of Yukta Vairagya. Sanatan Goswami told him, I also had the same desire, that I wanted to come under the chariot wheel of Lord Jagannath. Because I was feeling very unqualified and only a cause of disturbance to the Lord and to all the devotees, because my body was not cooperating. So I thought better to die in the Rath Yatra. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, understanding my heart, he forbade me. He told me that if by committing suicide I would have attained Krishna, I would have committed suicide long back. Mahaprabhu told Sanatana Goswami. So Mahaprabhu said, give up this desire. Now Your body belongs to me. You cannot make decision of your own body. So Sathan Goswami, like, he understood. So he taught Raghunath Das Goswami that you do not have the free will to use the body the way you like. Um, Rather, the body is uh, belongs to Guru, belongs to Lord Chaitanya, belongs to Rup Damodar Goswami. So, and the Lord has a plan for you. And then Raghunath Das Goswami, so he took Siksha, and then he took Siksha from Rupa Goswami. It is said that he would read the books that were written by Rupa Goswami, and he would feel intense separation from the Lord through the books of Rupa Goswami. So in that way, he was under guidance of various personalities throughout his life. I don't know why I came here. I was telling about Lord Chaitanya. Anyone remembers the line of thought I was going through? Anyways, so coming back, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also did not uh, make. I was sharing about the external reasons of Lord Chaitanya, and how he gave access to Goloka, which is the special prerogative of Lord Chaitanya. And actually, there were the internal reasons. One of the reasons he wanted to experience his own beauty. One was to experience the glory of Srimati Radharani, Sri Radha Mahima Pranaya, the glory of Srimati Radharani's love, and the happiness she experiences in his association. So one is her glory, one is the happiness she experiences, and one is his own beauty. These are described as internal and external reasons. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he this is the main, and it is mentioned. I now I remember. Sarup Damodar Goswami, I came from there. I came to Raghunath Das Goswami. Sarup Damodar Goswami was he wrote many verses glorifying Lord Chaitanya. And those who heard Guru Maharaj lecture yesterday, Maharaj began with the various verses, and those verses were actually written by Sarup Damodar Goswami. We don't have access to his diary, but Sarup Damodar Goswami was very, very close associate of Lord Chaitanya. And if you read especially Madhya and Antya Leela, Madhya Leela after like 15th chapter and Antya Leela, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked various questions to Sarup Damodar Goswami about Vrindavan. And Sarup Damodar Goswami would speak about Vrindavan. And Sarup Damodar Goswami would understand the mood of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, whether in Rath Yatra or various places, and he alone understood the mood of Lord Chaitanya. So he is actually, I mean, along with Ramananda Roy, but most of the time that I have seen, a few chapters, Mahaprabhu conversation Ramananda Roy, lot of places Mahaprabhu conversation Sarup Damodar Goswami. Sarup Damodar Goswami, Lalita Sakhi. And Mahaprabhu is in the mood of Srimati Radharani to experience the inner bhav and externally to give Goloka. So Sarup Damodar Goswami completely understood, he would understand the heart of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Like he understood, other than Sarup Damodar Goswami, another person who understood the heart of Lord Chaitanya is Rupa Goswami. But it was very natural for Sarup Damodar Goswami to understand. Whatever Mahaprabhu would say, whether in Rath Yatra he composed various prayers and various places, and then he was like when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, like, okay, when Rupa Goswami came and he stayed in the hut of Haridas Thakur, which was under Siddha Bakula, that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took the Datun of Jagannath and pushed into the ground and came a tree. It was a Bakula Datun, like the brush of Jagannath, and that came a vriksh, a tree. It became Siddha Bakula, liberated soul. And under that hut, Mahaprabhu would Haridas Thakur would do his bhajan. And in the house of Haridas Thakur, in the hut of Haridas Thakur, Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami would stay. They didn't meet together. First Sanatana Goswami, um, um, who came first? Who stayed first with? I think first Rupa Goswami stayed with Haridas Thakur, and then Sanatana Goswami came later. So when Rupa Goswami was staying, he was participating in all the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya, and he attended the Rath Yatra festival also. And then he went to the hut, and they both would share the room. Haridas Thakur, that's why they were very close. Haridas Thakur and Rupa Goswami. And Haridas Thakur and Raghunath Das Goswami were very close because since the beginning of cultivation in the manifested pastime of Raghunath Das Goswami started with Haridas Thakur, hearing from Haridas Thakur. So Rup and Haridas Thakur were very close. So there, every day, all the associates would go to ocean to take bath, and it is very, very close. Um, so Rupa Goswami went to the ocean, the beach, and then whatever is in his mind, he would write, and he kept it. There's a thatched hoof, so it's thatched. So he under a straw on the roof, he put a paper. He wrote the verse. He would contemplate, and that was his meditation. He would hear, he would understand what the Lord wants, and then he would write. So then, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came, and he came with Sarup Damodar. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw the letter and he was surprised because he understood the mood of Lord Chaitanya. Mahaprabhu understood. So Mahaprabhu showed that letter to Sarup Damodar Goswami. And he says, Sarup, have a look at this letter. And then Mahaprabhu asked Sarup Damodar Goswami, how is it that he understood my mind? So that itself shows how intimate is Sarup Damodar Goswami with Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It was a surprise for Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to see that Rupa Goswami knew his heart. But it was not even a surprise for Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It was an obvious fact for Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to understand that Sarup Damodar exactly knows my heart. That shows the position of Sarup Damodar Goswami. I mean, he's asking Sarup Damodar Goswami, how is that Rupa Goswami knows my heart, Sarup? So, um, 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 and even Mahaprabhu asked Saru Damodar Goswami and Ramananda Roy to check the understanding of Rupa Goswami, and they said, yes, I have bestowed my complete mercy. Saru Damodar Goswami told Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that's because you have given your mercy to Rupa Goswami, that's why he knows your heart. And Mahaprabhu said, yes, seeing the humility of Rupa Goswami, when I met them in Ramakeli, I gave my full mercy to them. And that's why they could understand my heart. Now, when this is the situation, we can understand how much mercy Mahaprabhu has given to Sarup Damodar Goswami. How important is Sarup Damodar Goswami there? And Sarup Damodar Goswami has written his notes. And Sarup Damodar Goswami knew everything. There are so many pastimes with, there's a pastime of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu when the fisherman was carrying. Yesterday we were discussing this pastime. When the fisherman was going into the sea and he was searching for a fish, he found a fish, he took the fish out and he saw it was a dead body, but it was Lord. And then by touching Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's body, he developed love of God and he started chanting name of Hari Hari Hari. That time, in the meantime, while this is happening, Sarup Damodar Goswami came to Govinda and he said, where is the Lord? Govinda said, he's inside. Sarup Damodar said, I do not hear his chanting. He's not inside, Govinda. Govinda opened the door. So Govinda opened the door. The Lord was not there because Mahaprabhu would not sleep. Whole night in the night he was in a very, like what he actually came. It is said out of after sannyas, 24 years, 6 years, Mahaprabhu traveled across first to South India, then an attempt to Vrindavan, then actually he went to Vrindavan, came back, and then 18 years in Jagannath Puri. In that it is described 6 years he was rectifying devotees. Like we may see one pastime today of rectifying Vallabha Bhatta, who became Vallabhacharya later on because he became proud. So various relationship with devotees, but out of 18, last 12 years, it was transcendental madness, unmad, that he was exhibiting, that he actually came to relish. taste the mood of Srimati Radharani. So there also we see Saru Damodar is telling all the devotees, go this side, go this side, go this side. And then he found the fisherman and he found and he would go. So Saru Damodar was like, although Govinda was his personal maid servant of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Saru Damodar was like constantly aware of each and every action. And he knew the heart of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu so well. um, I lost my thought again. Yeah. Okay. Anyways, so what is based on this verse? What is really important is having the faith in the standard process and sincerely practicing that with our full, with our with our full efforts. Um, especially if we have some, like we can check. Recently I was contemplating on this and I was sharing also, we can check in our own life, is there a time in a day for me which I consider as a waste? Is there a time for me in a day which is a waste of my time? I mean, other than the amount of rest we need and the cooking we do and the work we have and the responsibilities we have to our families and other responsibility, is there time in a day which is, which I feel like, yeah, this is not. So that's a sign that we may want to do little more sadhana. We want to fill our time in such a way that we are totally consumed with our either sadhana or seva or our responsibilities. So following the process with that full energy and full vigor, um, 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 in a mood of prayers. Um, we are bhakti yogis. Bhakti means dependence on Krishna. Prabhupada also says our progress in Krishna consciousness is not dependent upon even our sadhana, external aspect of sadhana, but it depends upon Lord's mercy. So bhakti means whether it is chanting, whether it is hearing, everything is dependent upon our consciousness and our consciousness of depending upon the Lord. It doesn't matter. Sometimes we feel good, sometimes we don't feel good. There are so many factors that are not in our control, but we still have the free will to take shelter of the Lord. Um, like Brahmaji's prayers with body, mind, and heart, um, um, with full emotions, if one takes shelter of you, even while going through ups and downs in life, he is uh, um, like that is the way Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wants it. That is the way Brahmaji says. Then the liberation becomes his birthright, which Sarvam Bhattacharya interaction with Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says for him, bhakti is his birthright, or pure devotional service will become his birthright. So I just wanted to share one or two instances. I know time is less. One instance is of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. His faith in Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, like faith on the predecessors, faith on the process. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he naturally we are given those who are Brahman initiated or those who are not. This story is, everyone can relate. It is told by my spiritual master. So he chanted how many syllables in Kam Gayatri, and he came out that Kam Gayatri contains 25 syllables. Um, syllable is like, like Hare Krishna Maha Mantra is 16 words, 32 syllables. So Hare, so it becomes 2. So likewise, if you take all the syllables in the Kam Gayatri, it turns out to be 25. You can count, it will be 25. So it's clearly full 25 um, syllables, Kam Gayatri Mantra. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur was thinking, why Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami mentions in Chaitanya Charitamrita that Kam Gayatri Mantra is 24 and a half syllables. what is the half syllable that I'm counting extra? And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is like expert in Sanskrit, like perfectly expert in Sanskrit. I mean, he wrote all his books in Sanskrit, and Prabhupada would take that his commentary on Bhagavatam is also in Sanskrit. Everything like they are like Sanskrit people, kind of our Goswamis and our predecessors. So by no means can he make a mistake. How he cannot make a mistake of not counting or making or counting a full syllable as half or half as full. So he was like full. He has full faith. This is 25 syllables, but he has more faith that Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami cannot say one word which is false because they are pure devotees, and pure devotees are free from four defects, so they don't make mistakes. Everything they say has to be perfect. This faith is what we want. I want to focus on. Everything they say has to be perfect. It's not like they say one line, yeah, maybe they made a mistake here. That thought even did not come to Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur that maybe Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami by mistake he spoke that. By mistake he wrote it is 24 and a half syllables. So he was contemplating, he was praying. When he was praying, then this is the first time he got, in his vision, he got the mercy of Srimati Radharani. And Srimati Radharani appeared to him, to Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur, and she said to Vishwanath that, oh Vishwanath, just like you, Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami is also my intimate servant. And whatever he has written, every single word he has written in Chaitanya Charitamrita is perfect because he is my intimate servant. And then Srimati Radharani explained Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur how it is 24 and a half syllables. And then she also mentions which book Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami referred to. Actually, Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur read various books just to find out how. I mean, this is very interesting. When we feel some controversy, we say that's okay. But we see that somehow the mood in our previous acharyas is like they are really very. They were really like scrutinizingly study. Like Advaita Acharya did not understand one word and he would fast the whole day. I mean, if we don't understand a verse, we're like, that's okay. We'll understand later. But then it's a different, different. I don't know how to understand that. So this one thing, and he's like, he referred to many books. How is Kam Gayatri Mantra 24 and a half? Then Srimati Radharani explained to him, this is how. And then she told Vishwan Chakravarti Thakur that you should elaborate on it. You should write a book on it so that in future people won't be confused. My devotees won't be confused about how Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami wrote that. So that just an example of how one should have this 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 faith in um, in devotees, faith in every word Srila Prabhupada says, faith in every word our spiritual master says. And many times this faith may be tested. Each and every word they say is perfect. And there is just, I will finish with just this last example. There was Vallabha Bhatta. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to Vrindavan, he met Vallabha Bhatta and he treated Vallabha Bhatta very nicely. But after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to Puri, then Vallabha Bhatta also came after some time to Puri and he met with the Lord and all the devotees were there. And Vallabha Bhatta, it is described that Mahaprabhu sensed some sense of pride in Vallabha Bhatta, who later on became Vallabhacharya. He became purified. He took a humble position. Mahaprabhu gave his full mercy, and that's how he became Acharya for Pushti Marg. But that time Mahaprabhu sensed little pride in the heart of Vallabha Bhatta. So Mahaprabhu spoke various verses. There is a half chapter in Chaitanya Charitamrita on this whole pastime. But in short, Mahaprabhu told Vallabha Bhatta that whatever I know about the holy name is what I have heard from Haridas Thakur. Whatever I know about the mellows is what I have heard from like the relationship I've heard from Ramananda Roy. and the position of the devotees like Srimati Radharani and others. I've heard from Ramananda Roy and Rasa Tattva. I've heard from Swarup Damodar Goswami. So, like this, Mahaprabhu was sharing to Vallabha Bhatta that all my understanding. He was basically, Mahaprabhu is in a hidden way, he is telling Vallabha Bhatta that I am made up of devotees' mercy. The Chaitanya Mahaprabhu speaking. Um, Vallabha Bhatta had pride in his heart that he understands the scriptures well, and he has his own conclusion, and he has lot of faith in himself and his own conclusion. In fact, Vallabha Bhatta wrote a Tika on Srimad Bhagavatam, which is like commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam, and he would say that this commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam is better than um, Sridhar Swami. This commentary is by the Sridhar Swami. This is what Vallabha Bhatta felt. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is telling how whatever I have learned from Haridas Thakur, from Ramananda Roy, from Saru Damodar Goswami. Um, um, so then at some point of time, Mahaprabhu knew, so he presented this just to subtly make Vallabha Bhatta feel that thinking oneself better than others or better than our seniors, better than our teachers, better than our acharyas or goswamis is not a right consciousness to be in. Rather, a devotee does not think that I'm better than them. A devotee thinks that I am made up of their mercy. And this is what it means. Like a devotee thinks, oh I was born in the region, in the darkest region of ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes. And what I am is made up of their mercy. So a proud heart will be like um, this is very important subject matter, at the same time very deep also. At the same time, we have to see it within ourselves and try to rectify within our own consciousness. So then he came to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and he said, and like it is said externally, Vallabha Bhatta was very humble. He asked Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is Sarup Damodar, who is Ramananda Roy, who is Haridas, who has taught you all these things? Mahaprabhu says, yeah, there are many of my gurus. Some are from Bengal, some are from other parts in India, but they all come during the Rath Yatra festival, and you can see that. So Vallabha Bhatta was very, very interested, and they all came during Rath Yatra. And Vallabha Bhatta, it is said, he washed the feet of all the devotees. He begged for the prayers of all the devotees. So he has that lot of external humbleness. He would bow down. He would fold his hands, very very humble. These are like great souls. He would say like this, and then his externals was proper Vaishnav etiquette, but internally he would think that he knows better than them also, and he has better understanding than even Sridhar Swami. So he put lot of effort, lot of contemplation, and he wrote a commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam, and he went to see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he told Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that I have written a commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam with the glories of the holy name in it. Would you please read it and see how it is? And then he said, and it is even better than um, um, uh, Sridhar Swami. Then Advaita Acharya, he presented first to Advaita Acharya. Advaita Acharya said, well, Lord Chaitanya is the best judge. So why don't you ask Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, well, first, I mean, it's a long pastime, but I know time is running out. Um, Anyway, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told him that um, Swami means husband, and one who goes against one's husband is a prostitute. That's all he said. So Vallabha Bhatta felt very, very bad. So at various instances, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he would uh, purposefully try to, the operation, like the heart of Vallabha Bhatta. He would say such sharp words that he would be hurt, he would be depressed, Vallabha Bhatta, and he would go. And it is said that Vallabha Bhatta had lot of respect for Lord Chaitanya and his devotees, but because of his false pride, he kind of started losing his respect and started losing his faith on Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was speaking words which was hurting his false ego, which was hurting his false pride. So he could not give more importance to bhakti than his own ego and false pride. Then Mahaprabhu, there are various instances. One time he asked Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and other devotees that Krishna is our Lord, he is our Swami, and in a Vedic culture we don't chant the name of our Swami. We respect, we don't like, it's considered disrespectful to take the name, and he's our Lord. So why do we chant his name? Why do we take his name? So in that way, he would speak anything and everything that he would come. This is how the pride works. Then Mahaprabhu says, yes, we should not chant the name of Swami, but the Swami himself says to chant his name. Then we cannot go against his instruction also. One of the um, one of the one of the sign of chastity is you do whatever your Swami tells you, and he tells you chant the name of Krishna. Then you should chant the name of Krishna. So in that way, then again he felt depressed and he went. So after going through these various instances, then Vallabha Bhatta at one point of time he was thinking that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to give me a lot of respect in Vrindavan. And why is he treating me so harshly? He gives so much respect to all his devotees, but why is he treating me only in such a manner? Then gradually, by the mercy of the Lord within his heart, Vallabha Bhatta understood that actually I am very proud. Um, and actually, I think that I am better than others. I'm better than Sridhar Swami. And I I think so. He kind of understood his own flaw. And then he went to see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and he told Lord Chaitanya that, my Lord, I've understood my fallacy. Please put your feet on my head. I want to take shelter of you. And please forgive me for my false pride and for my impurities. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, okay, so when are you inviting me for prasad? I want to come and take prasad in your home. So Prabhupada says, because when you go to somebody's home for prasad means you have forgiven them. So in that way, then he became actually uh, very realized, purified, and then he became very close. Vallabha Bhatta became very close with Rup Sanatan because they were from Vrindavan. So Vallabha Bhatta became very close with Rup Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, Jiva Goswami, and others. They were so close that after the departure of Rup and Sanatan Goswami, Jiva Goswami was looking at all the temples. There were so many temples that were under Jiva Goswami. Like there was Radha Govind Dev, there is Radha Damodar, his own deity is carved by Rupa Goswami. There is Radha Madan Mohan of Sanatan Goswami. And he also was overlooking at Gopalji, which was found by Madhvendra Puri. Um, but they were in such good relationship that at that point of time, Jiva Goswami handed over the worship of, Jiva Goswami was old, and Jiva Goswami was like, he was a manager. So he was like the leader of Vrindavan. So he was putting different brahmanas in charge of different devotees. So he chose the son of Vallabha to take charge of Gopalji deity that was found by Madhvendra Puri. And from then onwards, if we see, our Srinathji worship is in Nath Dwar in Gujarat, and um, all the Pushti marks, Kumar Sampradaya, they claim ownership over Srinathji deity. It is under their Sampradaya, the original Srinathji deity, which was actually found by Madhvendra Puri. So it's Mahaprabhu's line, Madhvendra Puri, Ishwar Puri, Mahaprabhu, and the Goswamis. But it shows the relationship between Rupa and Sanatan Goswami with Vallabha Acharya. later on. And then he became from Vallabha to Vallabhacharya. So this particular instance I shared how Mahaprabhu did not like one thinking better than one superior. Like he was thinking, what I write will be better than what others have written. What I speak will be better than others. I can do better than others. I can speak better. I can write better. I can do my sadhana better. I. And wherever this thing is there, better, 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 better. Then this is what this particular pastime explains. And one, I mean, Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami says, he says, "O foolish souls, O foolish living entities, if you want to understand the truth of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, go and go and read Chaitanya Bhagavat." Why? Because Vrindavan Das Thakur is incarnation of Vyasadeva. Just like Vyasadeva is the one who elaborated on Krishna's pastime. If you want to understand Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, elaborate and want to understand him, go through Vrindavan Das Thakur, who is Vyasadeva incarnation for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastime. And then Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami says, if anybody hears my name, his life will be spoiled. And this is like Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami consciousness when he's writing Chaitanya Charitamrita. He's not thinking, I am going to write a book which will have deeper pastimes, which will have Antya Leela also, which will become more famous, which will be better than Chaitanya Bhagavat. I have some scope, and maybe this book will become known. But rather, Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami, his consciousness is, oh fools, please go and read Chaitanya Bhagavat, because Vyasadeva has incarnated Vrindavan Das Thakur and he's writing. And then he says, yet, if you read this book, because it is the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya, that's why he was so careful that he did not repeat any story. He did not repeat any story that is mentioned in Chaitanya Bhagavat. He always says, Vrindavan Das Thakur has described. So he's not speaking anything that he has described, because he would think speaking what he has described is a sign of false pride. He's not thinking that I can describe this story of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with more details, more absorption, then people will like my story more than Vrindavan Das Thakur. Rather, it's not something made up humility. It's something that he internally feels that I am made up of their mercy and I can never excel them. I can never excel them. I don't want to show myself better than others. I want to show myself that I am made up of their mercy. This is the consciousness that a devotee carries. This is the consciousness that was lacking in Vallabha Bhatta. And this is the consciousness Mahaprabhu wanted him to acquire. Again, I'm ending with this. The faith in previous acharyas, and here in this verse, Kapila Muni says to Devahuti, I am explaining to you the standard process. And Prabhupada says, don't make up. Or our position is not of a competition. Even the thought, like we just have to work on our thought of and this is the reason why Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita is so famous, because he was not writing it with the motive to become better than Vrindavan Das Thakur. He was writing it because he was told. And he was writing with utter humility, that with utter true humility, that he is qualified. Somehow this task is given and I have to do it. This is the instruction by Lord. This is the instruction by Rupa and Sanatan. This is the instruction by Raghunath Das Goswami to me. And then he is writing. And now Chaitanya Charitamrita is like, it is a book like Chaitanya Charitamrita. Naturally, we read Chaitanya Bhagavat also. Still, the glory of Chaitanya Charitamrita because Antya Leela is there in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Okay, so I would like to end here. I'm sorry for the uh, I went much over time today. Is there any discussion at this point of time?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, please accept my hand.
Go ahead, Mataji. Go ahead.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisances are close to Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Prabhu. I had a question.
Is there any discussion that I cannot hear?
Prabhu, can you hear us? Haribol? I think Prabhu is not able to hear.
Can somebody speak? I just want to make sure that I'm able to
Prabhu, I'm
hear
speaking.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Prempali Mataji speaking.
I don't think Prabhu is able to hear.
Okay, 1 second. I think I know what is going on. Yeah, can someone speak now?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, can you hear?
Yeah, thank you, Mata.
Oh, Hare Krishna Prabhu. Yes, please accept my humble obeisances are close to Prabhupada. Thank you so much for the wonderful class, Prabhu, especially after the festival. Yes, you get tired, but you charged us up again with the pastime. So that was really nice. So I had a question, Prabhu. You when you were sharing about Vallabhacharya, you mentioned his journey, where he was so, and then he got so much mercy from Mahaprabhu, and he also got so much mercy and association of Rupa and Sanatan Goswami. But yet, what was the need of starting another sampradaya and not being part of the Gaudiya Madhva Sampradaya?
That's an excellent question. I don't have an answer for that. I just know that he received the mercy from Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. What is the mystery to me? And then I know that how Srinath ji went under their care, although it was under the care of the Goswamis, how it went there to Jiva Goswami. But what is surprising to me is in their sampradaya, they don't chant the name of Krishna. I mean, I met various, when I went to Vrindavan, I was doing some parikrama in Barsana. And then there was a temple. I asked them, they say Mahaprabhu's Baitak. Then I was thinking, did Mahaprabhu come here? So I asked him, is this Mahaprabhu's Baitak? So they say, yes, Vallabhacharya Mahaprabhu. So in Pushtimar, they call Vallabhacharya also as Mahaprabhu. Prabhupada mentions in one of the purport that they also call Mahaprabhu and we call Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They say Vallabhacharya Mahaprabhu. Everywhere Vallabhacharya went, they created a shrine that says Vallabhacharya Baitak. And various places Vrindavan is, because he was basically a Vrindavan man, is Mahaprabhu's Baitak, they say. Very difficult to understand this Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or who is this. So I met the Pujari and I asked him, what sadhana do you do for self-realization? Obviously, a Pushti Marg, they worship Bal Gopal or Srinath ji is like one lifting Govardhan. That was established. So I asked him, what worship do you do? They say we get up, we cook very nicely for Gopal, then we dress him, then we feed him, and this is our bhajan. And while doing that, we glorify, we chant sometimes. So then I understood that their method is seva, their method is seva to deities mainly, and bhajans, they do kirtans. That he got from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That Mahaprabhu would do kirtan, so he established kirtan. But they don't chant on beats. They don't have fixed number of rounds. And obviously it has to be a different sampradaya. But he went to Kumar sampradaya. So he took it. He became purified. He was very dear, but still he would do his own sadhana. I mean, we don't discriminate, we don't criticize because they were very dear to Goswamis and he became purified. Anybody Mahaprabhu would look, Mahaprabhu will give his mercy. By look, he will give him love of Godhead. Very interestingly, Mahaprabhu interaction with Vallabhacharya, to set a good example, he made Vallabhacharya go through a whole time of realization for our purification. But to your question, I don't have the answer.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhu. So I also had another question. So they don't, so in that case, they don't have the concept of Radharani, the highest, this thing, because they are worshipping the Lord only up, that. So they don't have, I'm just trying to understand.
Yes, they do not have. And one of the verses that Sarup Damodar Goswami writes about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and because I was describing how Sarup Damodar Goswami was like inherently aware of the mode of Lord Chaitanya, and he's the one who exactly understands the mode of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he says Mahaprabhu came to give Ujjvala Rasa. That is the main purpose Mahaprabhu descended. So this is like Ujjwal Rasa means basically the worship of Radha and Krishna. That's what Ujjwal Rasa means, worship of Radha and Krishna. But still, our Pushtimak, they don't worship Radha and Krishna. Very interesting. So he got mercy, but I don't know if we can say he got the full mercy of Lord Chaitanya, like the Goswamis got. So I don't have the answer.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And I'm really grateful for this wonderful class.
Thank you. Very much. Okay. Anything else anyone has?
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. It was a very nice class, very deep and very elaborate also. Actually, I was thinking at least for me, I will have to go back and listen to this class again because so many points got interconnected. But Prabhuji, one question that Mataji asked, you already answered. Why another sampradaya was started? My second question was, Prabhuji, how, despite having that false pride in him, Mahaprabhu gave so much mercy. Like,
Mhm.
I was just trying to contemplate. This is so. This is something so deep, Prabhuji. That subtle pride in him, and Mahaprabhu pointed it and made sure, and it's removed, and he accepting that and changing, and then so much mercy, and then that relationship with all the Goswamis at this so much so that he was given the responsibility of taking care of the temples and the deity itself. So this is very difficult to comprehend, Prabhuji.
Actually, Vallabhacharya became a pure devotee. Mahaprabhu is like Mahavadanyaya. So he made him a pure devotee. Just like it is described, just like Goswamis, like we see Raghunath Das Goswami when he would do bhajan, Krishna came to protect, Radharani came with her achal, the interaction of Radharani came and made sweet rice for Rupa Goswami. Vallabha Bhatta has his own pastimes. So this is like, he performed, so he was purified by the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This is his like previous contaminations. And then when he went, he became so purified, he's like directly associating with the Lord. And otherwise, how will he be so famous? So we consider him a pure devotee. It's just not our sampradaya. We have our own method, which is Hare Nam Eva Kevalam. Holy name is everything. Holy name of Sri Hari alone is everything. But yeah, he got full mercy. He went back home, back to Godhead. That's what we believe. But at the same time, our mood is Radha Krishna version. There's a difference in mood, and any devotees from any mood can go back to Godhead. But the mood that we have received from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is something that only Mahaprabhu can give. And Mahaprabhu came particularly to give. Anything other than Mahaprabhu's mission cannot carry that mood. This is Mahaprabhu's prerogative. Only to Lord Chaitanya can we understand Radha and Krishna. Radha and Krishna cannot be worshipped without Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And interestingly, this is also very much surprising to me. They don't worship Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So I don't know if it's concocted later on. They worship only Vallabhacharya. And they don't even read books by like Mahaprabhu's. It's a different line. But he got full mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So
yeah.
Did I answer your question, or I skipped your question and I said what I wanted to say?
No, Prabhuji. I got an idea. I had one more question, Prabhuji, but this is more related to the preaching aspect. In the beginning of the class, you spoke a little about Brahma Kumaris and art of living. So,
Yes.
Prabhuji, you can answer this question later on also. I just wanted to bring it to your notice. Sometimes I have seen that um, in terms of preaching, when the other people, they have this strong saying of like how ours is based on Shastra and faith, right? When the other people are not accepting Shastras, how do we put our philosophy?
First, we have to establish the authority of Shastra. Very important. Once they accept Shastra, then you speak from Shastra and establish Krishna as Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's why we have 6 sessions. In the 6 session, one of the session is Shabda Praman, when we say like um, Anuman, Pratyaksha, and Shabda. Then in Shabda, we take them to various principle of what scripture says. And then some things I like to say, especially people from India, most of them have some experience in astrology. Where is it coming from? Some experience where is Vedic cooking coming from? And it whatever it says, where is how Hanuman brought Jari Booty, who performed the scientific research on the medicine, and Lakshmana was immediately cured. So where this knowledge coming from? Scriptures have everything, and there is no point of time scriptures are ever proved wrong. Whatever they say always happens. And people are now realizing the effect of this embryo child and various principles about cow dung, about bhugol, various things that we mentioned about the predictions. Most of the time, religious organizations fail because the predictions don't stand. But the Vedic literature is the only literature. Whatever predictions are made, most of organization we heard in GBC college, the reason many spiritual organizations fall down because their prediction don't happen. But our prediction are so strong, whatever they say happens, and there is nobody has refuted since time immemorial. And we first put a lot of emphasis on emphasizing the scripture, and then we say the essence of all the scripture, like milking the cow, and the person receiving is Arjuna, and the milk, the essence is Bhagavad Gita. And Krishna himself says the essence of this Aham Sarva Vedyo. Everything is what I have given in this. And if you understand this book, you will know the entire Vedic literature. And if you give your time to read this book, and this book can be read under guidance. Otherwise, there are millions ways you can misinterpret it. So if you read this book under guidance, we don't know where you will be. You may be temporarily here and life keeps on changing. But this knowledge, once you receive, it will be an eternal benefit to you. So we try to bring them to the point of establishing scriptures during 6 sessions and then Bhagavad Gita. And then once they enroll for Gita, then they start understanding who is Krishna.
This is Prabhuji, this is when we have this elaborate time. Like how you mentioned, right? Brahma Kumaris have this one lady who takes instructions from, and that is a concoction. But
Yes.
I remember I overheard a discussion, exact same thing, when when one of our devotees was talking, and he brought the same point that we first it is Shabd Praman and then it is based on scriptures. And he was trying to explain, but at that point himself, the devotee was cut down by saying, what you believe as Shabd Praman is what that same lady's example, that lady is receiving from whom they call as whom they call as whom they are receiving knowledge from.
So then we can ask them, okay, who is a guru of that lady? What something?
So no DT, no Prabhuji. The direct receiving, that is what the main thing is, the clash when they are saying, because you are saying Shabd Praman, you want to believe it, then why you don't believe our Shabd Praman?
Shabda means, Mataji, what is spoken by the Lord. So what is spoken by the Lord, he has already mentioned. That's why we have Smriti and we have Shruti. Shruti is what is spoken by the Lord, and they are the Vedic scriptures. And if the Lord has spoken, and if what you are sharing is what is spoken by the Lord, then they have to match. The Lord will not speak two different things to different people. And we have the scriptures. It is well proven and authorized. It is like, whether it's Madhvacharya, whether it's Ramanujacharya, Prabhupada says, I'm not speaking. We are following Acharyas. Great authorities have accepted it since time immemorial. And if what they are speaking is Shabda, and this is for sure Shabda, then hearing this, we don't refute it, because Krishna said, don't disturb the mind of people who have other faith. Rather, we tell them, whatever you are hearing, that's very nice. You come for Bhagavad Gita classes and try to understand this Shabda also, and most likely it will match. So just give them some console, because generally, I mean, for our understanding, we can discuss. When it comes to common people, we are very careful, because by hook or by crook, we want to bring them to Krishna.
Yes.
So if we say, no, you hear and you will see many things will match, and just say some sweet words, whatever it is. Prabhupada says, if you want to lie, lie, whatever it takes to sell my books. So Prabhupada use this principle, whatever it takes to sell my book, it's okay.
Okay. Okay, Prabhuji, got it. Yeah, if I'll have more questions, Prabhuji, I'll take it offline with you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Okay, is there anything else, or are we okay to end here?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. This is Suresh and Padma from Norway.
Hare Krishna. Thank you
Yeah.
for joining.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhu. After this call, can I call you for just for 1-2 minutes?
Yeah, you can call me first. That's all.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, so maybe we'll end here. Thank you all very much. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnavendra ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. If I spoke anything wrong, please forgive me as a humble servant. Dandavat pranam. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Thank you for joining. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.